In this video, we are going to be looking at equivalent fractions. So let's take a look at my first example. I'm going to have 12 over 48 is equal to something over 36. Well, the first thing I'm going to do is simplify this fraction. So whatever fraction we have, probably the easiest way is to first simplify it the best you can. So I'm going to have 12 over 48 simplified. If I don't know this right away, I'm going to do, if you remember from last video, our prime factorization of both the numerator and the denominator. So 12 is my numerator. We're going to go 4 times 3. This is the same as 2 times 2. Circle my primes. I'm going to end up getting 2 times 2 times 3 for the top. Now let's look at 48. 48 is the same thing as 6 times 8. This is 2 times 3. This is going to be 2 times 4. Circle the primes I have so far, and then I'm going to have 2 times 2. So altogether I have 1, 2, 3, 4 2's on the bottom. So 1, 2, 3, 4 2's, and I'm going to have 1, 3. So now let's do my division to simplify this. I'm going to end up getting 2 divided by 2 is 1, 2 divided by 2 is 1, 3 divided by 3 is 1. So I'm left with a 1 on top and a 2 times 2 is 4 on the bottom. So this is really like we're saying 1/4 is equal to something over 36. Now, what multiplied by 4 gives me 36? So I have to multiply this by 9. This is kind of like now my ratios thing. Remember how we did ratios? What do I get to get there? So I multiply this by 9 to get 36. That means I must multiply the 1 by 9 to get my numerator. So 1 times 9 is 9. Let's try another one. So in my next example, I have 63 over 72 is equal to 14 over something. So let's try this again. So first of all, I want to put this into the simplest fraction possible. So let's look at 63 over 72. So first, 63. 63 is 9 multiplied by 7. 7 is prime. 9 can be broken down to 3 times 3. So I'm going to have 3 times 3 times 7. And now, let's look at 72. 72 is the same thing as 8 times 9, which is 2 times 4, 2, and 2. Circle all my primes, and we have 3 times 3. Circle these primes. So I have 1, 2, 3, 2, so that's 2 times 2 times 2, and then I have 2 3's, times 3 times 3. Now, let's cancel this off. So I'm going to have a 3 and a 3 and a 3 and a 3. So I'm left with 7 over, and we have 2 times 2 is 4, times 2 is 8. 7 over 8 is equal to 14 over something. Well, what is that something? What do I have to multiply by 7? Or what do I have to multiply 7 by to get 14? I multiply it by 2. 7 times 2 is 14, so I go this divided by that. So then, in other words, I have to multiply the 8 by 2 as well. So 8 times 2 is going to give me 16. So my equivalent fraction is 14 over 16. So now let's say we have 63 over 72, and I want 5 equivalent fractions. So that's the same thing as we had up here. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put this in the simplest form possible, and that's 1 equivalent fraction. So the simplest form would be, as we found out before when we prime factorize it, it's going to be 7 over 8. So right here is 1 equivalent fraction. Now the next one I'm going to say times by 2. And that's going to be 14 over 16. Now we have 2 equivalent fractions. Well, now let's look at 7 over 8 And we're going to times it by 3 both sides. Okay, if I times it by 3, 7 times 3 is 21. 8 times 3 is 24. Here we have our 1, 2, 3. That's our third equivalent fraction. Now I could also just double this here. If I double this, this is going to give me 28 over 32. Now I have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4 equivalent fractions. And I could double this one here again, and that's going to give me, let's say 42 over 48. Now I have a total of 5 equivalent fractions.